Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
The doors of the new Lloydminster Museum and Archives are now open to the public after a ribbon-cutting ceremony on Thursday. Our Jace Mackey reports on what visitors can expect at this new city facility.
To officially open the new museum and archives.
And with that, Lloydminster's new museum officially opened after a little over a year of construction. The new facility will continue to offer programming like art workshops that took place at the old Cultural and Science Center, but also features many new aspects like the main Heritage Gallery.
This is a dedicated gallery to share and preserve the history of Lloydminster, its settlement, and celebrate the region's people.
The Heritage Gallery tells the story of the border city from the Indigenous peoples who first called this land home to the area's settlers and the oil and gas industry. While it's a permanent exhibit, it does come apart, and museum staff hope to add to it to keep the gallery fresh. Mayor Gerald Albert says this building, which the city has leased for 10 years, is more modern compared to the Science Center.
We have control of the temperature and humidity. So items now at the National War Museum can spend time in Lloydminster.
The facility also has space for traveling exhibits, and staff have already booked different exhibits through 2022 and into 23, meaning residents can visit multiple times a year and see something new each time, starting with a gallery on loan from Libraries and Archives Canada.
So on December 1st, we have Hiding in Plain Sight, which is an exhibit about Métis culture and symbolism.
With winter temperatures, officials are expecting lots of interest from residents and visitors looking for indoor recreation options. The Museum and Archives is the first of a series of city-owned facilities opening to the public, with the city expecting to open the new library in the new year.
This is extremely exciting to see facilities that taxpayers fund, that we often hear about at budget time. Where does the money go? Now you can actually see where the money has been invested, where school children can now come and learn that history that they learned in the book firsthand.
Visitors are able to experience the museum firsthand with free self-guided tours continuing on Saturday. Book your spot online at lloydminster.ca/grand opening. For Primetime Local News, I'm Jace Mackey.
Black Friday, snow on the ground, and houses lit up with colorful lights are all signs of the holiday season. Now for another, the Kinsman Club's Christmas trees go on sale today. Josh Howrlack has the details.
The Lloydminster Kinsmen got their first order of Christmas trees last night. With trailers piled high with the trees, volunteers took the time to unload and display them in the parking lot of Aztec Safety to get them ready to sell.
It takes a small army to get all those trees unpacked, and we have some a large selection, Frasers and balsams, and some really tall trees. A lot of trees over 12 feet. So yeah, it takes a lot to get them all set up, but it's looking good, and we can't wait to start selling them.
The first batch of trees is coming out of northern Saskatchewan, and despite growing supply chain issues, Stang says that they had no problem getting their order, and that this year they ordered more trees over 12 feet to account for the demand for taller trees from previous years. And a second order is set to arrive in coming weeks with another 200 to 300 trees.
I think people that like real trees really like real trees, and they wouldn't go any other way. The only difference I can see this year is I've heard there's a pretty big shortage of artificial trees, so you never know, we might have a big influx of people looking for real trees this year.
The first delivery saw close to 550 trees in all shapes and sizes, some standing at 6 feet tall, others towering over the lot at 12 feet. The price for trees is dependent on the size, with shorter trees starting around $75 and the taller ones costing closer to $125.
So Kinsman Club, if people don't know, all the money that we raise here stays right here in this community. Every penny is donated back into various clubs and groups all around the city. So your money is going to a good place.
The trees go on sale today. The lot is open Monday from noon to 9, Saturdays from 9 to 9, and Sundays from 10 to 6. Stang expects that they will have enough trees to last until close to Christmas, but says the bigger trees will sell out quickly. Josh Howrlack, Primetime Local News.
A local holiday tradition is back and bigger than ever, as Tate Lakecraft has the details on this year's Here Comes Santa Claus Day.
Today on Primetime Local News, I'm joined by Kurt Price from New Lloydminster Nissan, and he's here to talk about Here Comes Santa Claus Day, which is coming up on December 4th. So, Kurt, there are a lot of things going on for this year's Santa Claus Day. So, off the bat, could you just touch base on a few of these activities that are planned?
Sure. We got a lot of fun things planned, including free matinees. The Polar Express is playing at May Cinema 6, and Crude Master Transport's sponsoring that. And you'll hear me mention the sponsors a lot, Tate, because this is an incredibly busy day. Like, it's a full day, but it's a day that's made possible because we have such great sponsors. So I always like to get them in there, because if they don't do this, if they don't sponsor it, then basically the event doesn't happen. So we do have free matinees. We do have the fireworks again this year because of Service Credit Union and Synergy Credit Union, who have sponsored this event for all 14 years. We have a hot chocolate drive-through with the City of Lloydminster and the Tent Guys. Sobeys is a huge sponsor of this event. They've teamed up with Century 21 Drive and the Lloydminster Connect Club. So we used to do that you could go to the olive tree and make a gingerbread house. This year it'll be pick up the gingerbread house and take it home. And of course, the big draws are always Santa and the Grinch. I'm not sure which one is more popular, Santa or the Grinch, but they'll both be downtown, and they're both going to be at the gazebo this year. Santa's going to be at the gazebo from 10 to 2 with treat bags courtesy of J-Guard Contracting, another longtime sponsor of this event now. And we also have the Grinch there, and he's got DQ treat meals courtesy of Fountain Tire and DQ. Again, great sponsors, and it doesn't happen without those sponsors.
And on that note, with all these sponsors, something that's so great about this day is the reality that all these activities are free to the public to come and take part in, right?
That's the big thing, is because of the sponsors, everything is absolutely free. And each year we try to add a few new things. And, we had the event last year, but we had to scale it down because of the pandemic. This year is really the first year that we're also able to connect with Legacy DIY downtown. And so there's a couple big things happening at Legacy DIY. Lauren is bringing in Mark the Magnificent clown for the afternoon, be there from 11 to 3, making balloon animals for the kids. And also, when we were talking to Lauren, he mentioned about they can make these ornaments that they have. And, Stephanie Dobson at Hankett Divorce and Law Mediation, I know you guys at Primetime Local News know her well. She's a big community sponsor. She has sponsored this event every single year, and she was looking for something that she could sponsor this year. And so she's bringing you the glass ornament making in the afternoon at Legacy DIY as well. So we love to add new things. Walking on Water Toys, they have something new this year. I think the kids are going to like it. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is going to be showing up at Walking on Water Toys. And if you're familiar with Rudolph, then one of his friends is a Bigfoot named the Bumble, and the Bumble has agreed to come as well. So there'll be picture opportunities, and we have a photo contest where if you take photos with characters downtown, and they're going to be in numerous places downtown, you'll have to kind of look for them. It's a little bit of a scavenger hunt, but the gingerbread man will be down there as well. Mrs. Claus will be down there. Take a picture with it, send it in to us. You'll have the chance to win $1,000 from Border City Furniture. So there's also, if you take your picture with the Grinch and Santa and you get those pictures in, you get both pictures in, you could win $500 from New Lloydminster Nissan. So we have a lot of great sponsors and a lot of activities that we hope people take part in. And we hope they like the new things that we've added with Legacy DIY and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer coming on board.
And with those two big giveaways, which people surely don't want to miss out on, we've talked about a lot of details today. There's a lot of events going on December 4th. So to make things a little bit easier to digest for people, where can they go online to kind of get a general overview of all that's going on?
So if you pick up a copy of the Meridian Source, you'll see a big full page ad in there with all the activities listed that are happening and the times they're happening throughout the day. For more specific information, you can go to Here Comes Santa Claus on Facebook, and that has a lot of detailed information as well. And it's a great place to learn and kind of plan out what you're going to do, including showtimes at May Cinema 6.
Thanks so much for doing this, Kurt.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Canadian band The Tea Party has released a new 5-song EP. Stacey Comer chatted with one of the band members to find out about the new material.
I'm happy to be joined today on Primetime Local News by Stuart Chatwood from The Tea Party. Stuart, thank you for speaking with us today. And we have exciting news for Tea Party fans. Tell me about this EP that's coming out.
This new EP called Sunshower. We've been working on it for quite a while. It's a 5-song EP, which is the second half, the continuation of our prior EP, Black River. And in certain parts of the world, they've combined the 2 EPs into one called Blood Moon Rising. But we luckily got to record this prior to COVID. So in October 2019 in Vancouver, we hit one of the impressive studios here called Armory Studios. And the 3 of us laid down basically the whole blueprint and everything except the vocals. Jeff Martin, who lives in Australia, returned to Australia and finished the record there. It's quite difficult for us as a band to create new records because we're so socially distant, but geographically distant as well. Jeff Burrows, our drummer's in Detroit area, Windsor, Ontario. And then I'm in Vancouver, and then our singer, Jeff Martin, is in Australia. So it leads to some problems. For example, we had a tour planned across Canada in 2020, and it was going to hit arenas, 4,000 to 6,000 people. We had sold 65% of the tickets, but we postponed, and then we postponed, and then we postponed, and then we've just recently canceled that tour. But we're hoping to get out again in July of 2022. So.
How has it been? I know you guys had quite a process to get this EP even recorded with 5 songs, but for the past, almost 2 years, it's been so tough for musicians because your livelihood, which is touring, for a good part of it, hasn't been able to happen. So what have you guys been doing besides recording? Have you been doing some things on social media and concerts and that sort of thing? Like how do you keep going during these trying times?
Personally, myself, I'm fortunate to be involved in the video game industry, and I've been doing soundtracks since 2002 there. And I released just last week Darkest Dungeon 2. It's a sequel to an indie game made in Vancouver. Very successful, though. Prior to that, I did Prince of Persia. So I'm very fortunate that way. My heart does go out more so to the crew members. And, we're a massive industry that we're only a small part of. So there are lots of people out there that have unique skills that only are utilized when everything's up and running. We have an agent in Toronto who just bought his agency for a lot of money, and then the industry kind of fell apart. So my heart goes out to him as well. So we just can't wait to, get things, even like, the smaller capacity venues, if they get into, 50% situation, that will help us out a tremendous amount. As for our band, though, we kept busy by recording 2 cover songs that we recorded remotely. So I played my bass in Vancouver, drums in Windsor, Detroit area, and then we sent the tapes over to, or the files, over to Australia for Jeff Martin to finish. And then a great videographer in Australia shot a great video. So we did that with 2 songs. So that kept us kind of, in the public eye a little bit. So, but we're happy to have this out at the end of November, or sorry, the Sunshower this week. But we also have another record from 30 years ago called Just the Tea Party. It was our debut record, and we thought we would sort of make note of the 30th anniversary of that. So we've remastered that, and that is coming out right now as well, same time.
It's hard to believe that it's been 30 years since that came out. Just so much has happened since then. Is there going to be anything extra on that, the remastered version, or is it just going to be basically kind of a release, as you said, marking the fact that it has been 30 years?
We have a new remastering on vinyl, and you don't want to put too much on vinyl because you want the sound quality to sound good, but on a CD and a digital download that you could purchase instead, it has some demo music, and it also has the original mastering. So for those people that never got a chance, because we only made 3,000 copies of this record, So a lot of people for a lot of years had to go to eBay or, ask someone to burn them a copy or whatever. So now people have an opportunity to buy like the original package the way we intended it. So,
Oh, and you mentioned too that Sunshower in Europe was going to be combined with a second EP with Black River, correct?
mhm, that
So
is correct.
will we have access to that in Canada at some point too?
I'm hoping so. It'll ultimately be up to Warner Records, who we're putting that out with in Canada. I don't see why not, that we couldn't easily, all the artwork, everything's done. And, judging by I just did a Rolling Stone interview in Germany and, they're loving the record there. So it's getting a great reception. And we kind of made the two EPs to be combined. So they do make sense. And on the album, the full length album, the tracks are interspersed between the two EPs. So we've mixed up the running order a little bit.
Well, Stuart, it's been a pleasure chatting with you today. And if anybody is looking to find this and everything else that the Tea Party has done over, like I said, I can't believe it's 30 years. What's the best way to find this?
Probably ultimately Facebook. The record, the indie record is out on Universal Records, and then the new EP is out on Warner Records, and then the whole record is out on Inside Out Records around the world. But our website's another resource that you can go to, teaparty.com. So we never sold it. We got offered a couple $1 million, but we said, no, we're going to keep it. So that's a good resource as well. And then Twitter, of course, for more instant up-to-date stuff. So, and I think most of the social media stuff is the Tea Party Band. So Facebook, the Tea Party Band, Twitter, the Tea Party Band, etc.
Well, thank you so much, Stuart. I really appreciate speaking with you. I've been a fan for a long time, and it's great to see that, as challenging as it is, still all kinds of things coming forward from the Tea Party. So good luck with the future. Hopefully you guys can get back on tour again sometime soon. And we ask everybody just to go to the social media and find everything they need to know about the Tea Party.
All right. Nice chatting with you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Now Shelby Clark will take a first look at your Friday weather.
Jasmine. TGIF, am I right? Now here in the Border City today, we are seeing a beautiful day for our Friday, +5 with a little bit more cloudier skies. So it is warmed up quite a bit compared to what we've been seeing throughout the week. So it's a good start to the weekend. If you're hitting those roads, though, just be careful. There might be some icy conditions just from the snow melting, and it might be cooling over right now. But switching over to temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan. On the Alberta side, they're seeing all plus temperatures here, ranging, most are seeing around +6, +4 degrees. Bonnyville and St. Paul are at 2 and 3 degrees, while down in Wainwright they're at 3 degrees as well, and Vegreville is sitting at that 4 mark, as well as down in Marwayne. Switching over to this side here, they are seeing some around the same as the Alberta side. Some are slightly cooler, especially up in Isle Cross and North Battleford, hitting that 0 mark. 1 in Green Lake, while Meadow Lake is at 3 degrees. 2 in St. Walburg and Pearceland, while it is +4 in Maidstone and Macklin's the warmest, sitting there at 6 degrees. But for North Battleford overnight tonight, they will be going down to a low of -9, so they are cooling down just a bit compared to what they saw last night. They will be seeing a little bit more clear skies, but they are seeing a little bit more cooler night compared to before, and tomorrow they will warm up to -4, and they will be seeing a little mix of some sun and cloud, and they won't be seeing any flurries tomorrow. Switching over to Cold Lake overnight, they will be going down to a low of -10, so they will cool down quite a bit compared to the night before as well. They will be seeing more clear skies, won't be seeing too much clouds in sight, and tomorrow they will see -5 for their Saturday with a little bit more cloudier skies. And switching over here in the Border City, we will be going down to a low of -10 as well. We won't be seeing any cloudy skies. Tomorrow for our Saturday, we will be seeing that -4 mark as well, and we will be seeing a mix of some sun and cloud, and we will be warming up just in time to end off the weekend. And switching over to our 3-day forecast, as I was saying, Sunday we will warm up there, seeing that 1 mark and a low of -7. We will be seeing slightly cloudier skies on Sunday, but we will be seeing nicer conditions this weekend than we've been seeing last weekend. And Monday starting off next week, we will be starting off a bit warmer, but it will be a little bit more icier now that it has melted and cooled over. So please be careful if you are driving by the time the weekend is over. That's the first look at your weather forecast. We'll have more news coming up after the break.
The Lloydminster Bobcats are coming off a come-from-behind win over the Spruce Grove Saints. The team was down 2-0 with 7 minutes remaining and clawed back for a 3-2 victory. Ahead of the game, the Bobcats acquired a 19-year-old defenseman, Quentin Gove. Evan Kenny has more on that edition.
On their birthdays, some get a bike, some get a new video game, some might even get a cell phone. For the newest Lloydminster Bobcat, he got traded to the Border City.
It is my birthday, yeah.
Well, then let me say happy birthday.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Not a bad way to spend your birthday with on the rink, eh?
No, it's awesome. Just getting out there to practice. So.
Gove hit the ice for his first practice with the team Thursday afternoon after starting the season with the Drayton Valley Thunder.
I love it so far. You know, I got in last night. I met my billet family. They seem like just awesome people, so I'm excited. Yeah, you know, I mean, a lot of the guys came up to me. They were all super friendly, introduced themselves, and they all seem like great guys.
He looks like he'll be a great fit in our lineup. We're down two D-men, pardon me, and he looks like he'll be a great fit, and it's just an opportunity for other guys to step up, right, and take those roles, so it'll be good.
The addition of Gove couldn't have come at a better time for the team.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we lost Tyson Kowalik last night for a significant period of time on a really dirty hit, and then the player got suspended for 3 games out of it. But adding Quentin on the back end for us, comes at a time where we need another defenseman. He's going to bring some maturity with his age, and he's got really good feet on him, so he's able to move around and adds a little speed there.
I bring speed. I like to jump up in the play, make a good first pass, and like I said, jump into the rush when I get the opportunity.
Gove and the rest of the Bobcats will host the Fort McMurray Oil Barons tonight and Saturday night. Evan Kenny, Primetime Local Sports.
Now Shelby Clark will take another look at this evening's forecast.
Thanks so much, Jasmine. Now taking another look at your weather forecast. We'll be starting off with taking a look at temperatures around the central region of Alberta and Saskatchewan here. On the Alberta side, they are seeing some warmer temperatures as well, with Red Deer at 7 degrees, 5 in Rocky Mountain House and Athabasca there, while as 4 in Edson and Cold Lake, 6 degrees in Edmonton and Jasper, while Whitecourt is at that 2-degree mark. Switching over to Saskatchewan side here, they are seeing around the same as what the Alberta side is seeing, except for North Battleford is hitting that 0 mark, so a little bit cooler over in North Battleford area. +4 in Meadow Lake, while it is 3 degrees in Melfort and Saskatoon, and Prince Albert is reaching that 5-degree mark. But switching over to our northern region of the provinces, some are even still seeing those minus temperatures for today, so a little bit cooler in most spots here, but it is +5 in La Loche, Buffalo Nair, as well as 4 in La Ronge, and the rest are past that minus degree point with -6 in most spots, and Stony Rapids is at -7. Switching over to this end here, they are seeing warmer temperatures over in the Alberta side in the northern region. Grand Prairie is hitting that 0 mark, 1 degree in Peace River, while it is 2 in Slave Lake. Fort McMurray is hitting 5 degrees, and the rest are past that minus mark as well, with -1 in High Level and -5 in Fort Chipewyan. And switching over to the southern region, as you can see, they are seeing a lot warmer temperatures compared. They're even reaching those double-digit points, +10 in Lethbridge and Calgary, 13 degrees in Medicine Hat there. Coronation and Banff are a little bit cooler at those single-digit points at 3 and 4 degrees. And switching over to this side here, they're seeing some warmer temperatures as well, with 1 in Yorkton, 3 degrees in Regina, 4 in Estevan, 5 degrees in Kindersley, 8 degrees in Swift Current, and Moose Jaw is hitting that 9-degree mark. But going back across the region, the temperatures overnight tonight, we are cooling down just a bit in some spots compared to what we've been seeing throughout the week. A low of -7 for Isle Cross tonight, a low of -8 for Provost, a low of -9 for Meadow Lake and Unity, low of -10 in most spots here in Murnum, Wainwright, and Bonnyville for their evening low. Pearson will be seeing a low of -11 degrees, while Paradise Hill will be seeing the coolest with a low of -13 throughout the night. But most spots will be seeing more clear skies, and some will be seeing a couple clouds in sight. And switching over from temperatures overnight to temperatures tomorrow across the region, we will cool down just a couple degrees in most spots, ranging from around -1 to -4 degrees in most spots. St. Paul on the Alberta side will be seeing a little bit cooler at -6 for tomorrow, and on the Saskatchewan side, St. Walburg will be seeing -7 for tomorrow, but we will be seeing still some nice temperatures for our weekend. And ending off with our 7-day forecast for here in the Border City, we will be seeing that -4 mark as well for here in the Border City for Saturday. Still seeing some nice weather, so if you're going holiday shopping, Christmas shopping, get it out there and do it now while it is still a bit warmer. Sunday will end off on a warmer note at 1 with a little bit more cloudier skies. And starting off next week, we might be seeing some icier conditions just because it has warmed up, melted down, and kind of cooled down there. So the driving conditions might worsen a bit for next week. And we will see -2 on Tuesday, while Wednesday we'll see our warmest day with +7. And Thursday and Friday we will cool down just a bit with a mix of some sun and cloud. That's another look at your weather forecast. We'll have more news coming up after the break.
I'm joined here today with American author Sasser Hill, and for people who may not know too much about you, I'll get you just to go a little bit into your background.
I grew up in Maryland, and I was very fortunate to have old friends of the family, distant cousins that had horses, so I was able to ride and learn a lot about horses. And my father died when I was just 16, and there was a man named Alfred H. Smith Sr. who took me under his wing. He and his family took me under their wing, and they gave me a steeplechase horse to ride. And I mean, I knew how to ride, but I'd never been on a thoroughbred racehorse before. And they wanted me to go fox hunting with them, so I did, and I passed the master, which is a terrible error. But you know, I was 16. What could I do? So he taught me pretty much everything I know about horses, and he was a really cool guy to know because he had a horse named Tuscaloosa that was a champion steeplechaser, Clips Award winner 2 years in a row. So I had a great education in thoroughbred racehorses. So when I got married, I got into the business myself. And for about 32 years, I raised, bred, rode, owned racehorses. So it seemed like I'd always been good at writing. So it seemed like, well, what should you write about? Well, obviously, horse racing. But I loved murder mysteries and you know, like thriller mysteries. And so that's what I wrote in my first book. It was called Full Mortality.
And your books in the Nikki Luttrell series, they also take both those inspirations with horses and mysteries as well. So your newest book, Shooting Star, released there back in July. But for those who aren't too aware of the series, could you just give some background into it?
The first book is Full Mortality. It was released in 2010. It's about a female jockey who comes from a tough life. She grew up on the streets in Baltimore, and her mother died when she was 13. She'd been living with her mother, and her mother had remarried, and the stepfather was a really bad guy. And she, after her mother died, she was left in the house with this guy, and he turned out to be pretty bad. So she literally climbed out the window one night and ran away before he could get his hands on her, and climbed the razor wire fence into Pimlico Racetrack in Baltimore, because that was a place she had been with her mother, and it was horses, and she loved horses, and it just seemed like a place to go hide. So she did. And you know, you have to say, well, what is a 13-year-old girl with no money, no ID, no nothing? How does she survive? So that's kind of how it started. And then she ends up becoming a jockey and gets into all kinds of problems and mysteries. And when you have anything as expensive with as much money as involved in horse racing, there's a lot of room for skullduggery and misdeeds and all those wonderful things that we love to read about if we're mystery buffs. She goes to Santa Anita Racetrack. Nikki is hired by the Thoroughbred Racing Protected Bureau, which is a real bureau that exists in the United States. She's hired to make sure nothing happens to these horses, so it's not a repeat of what happened with the movie Luck, or the series rather, Luck. So of course, needless to say, there's a lot of problems going on out at Santa Anita while she's there. There's a murder and a lot of likely suspects. You know, the sleazy director, the handsome, hot, overly zealous young movie star who comes over from England, and you know, just a whole cast of interesting characters. And I had a lot of fun writing the book. And I think the people that have read it seem to really like it. It's gotten good reviews. It's gotten good reviews on Amazon and Goodreads. So it's a good read.
And your books throughout this series have got a lot of recognition from awards and just like you mentioned, the fan response. So what does that mean to you to see that your work is being recognized?
It means a lot. But the biggest payback of all is when there was a gal on Facebook who wrote me and sent me a note. And she said, I just want you to know I was going through a really bad time in my life. And I picked up a copy of Full Mortality and it got me through it. And that just, that made me want to cry because that's the payoff. There's not a whole lot of money, but having people that you've helped them, that you've entertained them. And that's always been my goal, not to be the great American novelist, but to write stories that are a little bit scary, a little bit funny, and always lead to reader satisfaction and a good time, an escape from reality. And we all know these days we can all use a little escape from reality.
And if anyone is looking to pick up any of the books in the series, where should they go?
Well, they can go to Kobo to get any of the ebooks. They can, of course, go to Amazon and pick up the paperbacks because all the books are available in paperback and ebook. Flamingo Road, the first book that I wrote for St. Martin's, won the $10,000 Dr. Tony Ryan Award for Best Book in Horse Racing Literature. So, I don't want to sound like a braggart, but I do think that all my books are at least good and at least enjoyable at the very least. So yeah, I would say you want something fun to do, pick up a Sasser Hill book.
Well, thank you so much for your time today.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
There's a number of different ways that you can get into the Christmas spirit this weekend. If you're near Wainwright, head to the Communiplex tomorrow. The Wainwright Snowball Craft and Trade Show will continue from 10 until 4. Free admission, enjoy sights and sounds of the season, plus get a start on that Christmas shopping. And coming up on Sunday here in Lloydminster, the Kiwanis Club of Lloydminster will be lighting up Kiwanis Park for the season. Sunday afternoon, things will get underway at around 4 o'clock, and they will officially light up the park at 4:30 on Sunday afternoon. It should be a great way to get into the Christmas spirit. Coming up next Friday night, Tom Jackson is taking to the stage at the Vic Juba Community Theatre. It's his Stories, Songs, and Santa Clauses tour. And when you head out to this show, you'll hear some original music, some sing-along songs, some Christmas tunes, and of course, some great stories. He's such a talented storyteller. You can still get tickets for this show, and a great way to get them is going online, vicjubatheatre.ca for more details and to get your tickets. And tomorrow, the grand opening of the Lloydminster Museum and Archives continues. If you're interested in taking a free self-guided tour, you can register at lloydminster.ca/grand opening. Limited spots are available. And save the date. Coming up Saturday, December the 4th is the annual Here Comes Santa Claus in downtown Lloydminster. For all the details, pick up a copy of the Meridian Source. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, we hope you stay safe and stay healthy.
What's Happening is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, and Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
Joining us today for this week's entertainment panel, as always, is Abby St. John. Thanks so much for taking the time to speak with us.
Of course.
Now, we're starting off with a new thing coming out here in 2022. Will Smith is involved in this project on a serious drama called Bel Air that's set to premiere, of course, next year in 2022. And it's, a drama based off of Fresh Prince of Bel Air. And it's going to be interesting because this is for them to dive a little bit more into the, the serious issues that were involved in that show, but they weren't able to touch as much base on it just in their shorter episodes. And with all the comedy, of course, involved in it, I think they really wanted to be able to just kind of broaden broaden it and be able to speak about those issues a little bit more. So now they're having this new drama that's supposed to be set to come out. They got a full cast list already, and they have a cast set released, even a short teaser trailer to kind of show what's going to be all involved in it. So it's going to be interesting to see this because they even had like a different take on the theme song over the trailer.
Yes, so there is a short little 45-ish second teaser trailer that was posted not too long ago, and it does show the new Will, who's played by Jabari Banks. It looks like he's in a pool, but he's underwater, and you can hear Will Smith's voice in the background, and he's speaking some of the lyrics from the iconic theme song from the sitcom, and it shows him sitting on a throne at the end. So that's kind of a take on, the theme song and it being, about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but it has more of that serious tone to it, instead of, the goofy, very brightly colored type of theme that Fresh Prince did have. Now, like you said, it is going to touch on issues that the sitcom did touch on throughout the series. Issues relating to police brutality, biases, conflicts that related to his life. His issues with his father that they did address. But with 30 minutes and it being a sitcom, it's kind of hard to dive pretty deep into those subjects because you still want to have that comedy as it is a sitcom. So this show is going to be a little bit more darker, and it's going to be able to go deeper into those issues, but still have the goofiness and the comedy that the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is known for. And it is going to nod to some of the events in Fresh Prince. There's not too much about what we know so far about the plot or what to expect, but it will be kind of based on the sitcom, but in more of a dramatic, more of a drama setting. Now, this show is inspired by a parody on YouTube that was made 2 years ago, taking a darker spin on the Fresh Prince, kind of like what would happen if the Fresh Prince was a darker series. And it was made by Morgan Cooper, who will co-write, direct, and executive produce the show. So it's going to have that element to it. Will Smith, like you said earlier, is an executive producer, so he's going to have influence onto the show and kind of, because he was Will in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, so he's going to be able to really be able to bring that show into this one, but still maintain those issues and the darker themes that they will be discussing.
Yeah, and I'm excited that when they will be able to release like a longer trailer to really show who else is all involved in it. So we'll be able to talk about it again in the future, of course. But from that little teaser trailer, it's going to be interesting the kind of take they have on it. And just seeing that difference from that funny sitcom, like you were saying, to something serious, I hope it does turn out to be really good. But having Will Smith involved in it, I'm sure it will help out quite a bit. Now, of course, earlier this week on Wednesday, of course, we got to talk about this, being Marvel fans and all. The Hawkeye series has dropped, and we kind of wanted to bring this up to be able to talk about, already the reviews and what people are saying about it. I myself have not watched those first 2 episodes that premiered on Wednesday just yet. I'm saving it for the weekend, but I will be catching up just before next Wednesday. But we've already been seeing some really great reviews so far.
Yes, it's gotten some pretty great reviews, and the first 2 episodes dropped, so we get introduced to Kate Bishop, who we find out is a big fan of Hawkeye after seeing Clint fight during the Battle of New York in 2012, which was portrayed in the first Avengers movie, and he becomes her hero at that point. So then she embarks on becoming a champion in archery and martial arts from a very young age, and they kind of showcase that she has a ton of trophies, a ton of accolades throughout doing all of this, and then she stumbles upon Clint's Ronin costume from when he was an assassin during the blip after Thanos wiped out half the universe. So that is kind of his past catching up to him. No one knows that he was Ronin during that time, so he really wants to keep that identity secret. So he's going after getting that suit back, and then also discovering that the people he angered during that time is coming back to bite him in the butt, because now they're going after Kate Bishop, who they think was Ronin. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go so far. And, so far the action has been pretty good. We're getting that, introduction base out of the way before the real action starts. They introduced Pizza Dog, who's who becomes Kate Bishop's dog, kind of like a little sidekick or a mascot, who is very, very adorable. And then it's set at Christmas time too, so you have like the winter theme, and it has been confirmed that this takes place 2 years after they brought everyone back. So it's been a little while since Thanos and since they, went back in time. So I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's off to a very great start, and I would definitely recommend checking out the first 2 episodes and definitely the rest of the series.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch those episodes myself. Hopefully this gives people more of like a nice backstory when it comes to, Hawkeye, because he's gotten so much hate, of course, from Endgame and just everything that happened with Natasha and all that. So I'm hoping, people will find that love back with him and just seeing what he's all about. And it's going to be interesting, yeah, of course, seeing with Kate Bishop what you were explaining. I'm excited to see that dog. So I'm going to be excited to see those episodes. But that's all the time we have for this week's entertainment panel, unfortunately. Thanks again so much for joining us today.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you for joining us and have a great night.